welcome back. So now that we have our milk in here and it's been filtered, we're going to go ahead and make some goat cheese. What I have here is 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. So we're going to, now that we have a whole bunch of it, we're going to make some milk with this. I just took it out of the fridge a little while ago, so it's still pretty cold. I want to show you what I have here. First of all, I have my live bacteria culture that I keep in the freezer that keeps it just nice and fresh. Each one comes with 4 packets, so I'm down to 1 packet. And I've got vegetable rennet. Rennet is the component that coagulates the milk, whereas this kind of turns it tart. It's the lactobacillus culture. The culture is a mesophilic culture, which means there's 2 kinds. You can have a mesophilic or a culture that is best grown in hot temperatures, a thermophilic, I believe, I can't remember. But mesophilic means moderate loving temperature. So we're going to heat the milk up to 86 degrees and then turn it off, and it'll stay 86 degrees for a little while, and that'll activate the culture. Rennet, on the other hand, there's 2 different types. There's vegetable rennet and there's animal rennet. Animal rennet is made from, I believe, the lining of the intestines of animals, like goats or sheep. And I just think that sounds kind of gross, although people say it makes for a really good product. But I also read reviews on vegetable rennet. It's made from vegetable mold, and I know that still sounds kind of disgusting, but sounds better than the lining of intestines. So I use this and it turns out really good. So I'm just gonna stick with the vegetable rennet. Over here, I just want to show you, I boiled my utensils that I'm going to be using to sterilize them. Boiled them for 5 minutes, and I'm letting them just kind of rest and cool off, just so I can dump out the water a little easier. I have a spoon. I have tongs that I'm going to use to extract all of my utensils. I have a measuring cup, a stainless steel measuring cup that can withstand that heat, that I'm going to be adding my components into the milk. And then last but not least, my big pot that's stainless steel that now that it's sterilized, I'll be using it to make the goat cheese in. And then I also have my thermometer. I dipped my thermometer in when it was boiling, so it got sterilized as well, and I put it on the towel. I just didn't want to submerge it all the way because then it wouldn't work. It's a instant read thermometer, so I can't submerge it in the water. So come back in a little bit and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so our utensils have been sterilized. I dumped out the water and they're just here drying. Everything is cooled off too. We don't want to scald our milk by putting it into a hot pot. So it's been cooled off. Let's go ahead and dump our milk in. So I have the stove off right now. I'm just going to dump this in, and then we'll start heating it up. And we want to heat it to 86 degrees. I know some people that I've read their stories about making goat cheese, they use double boilers, but I am not that patient. I kind of just bring it up to temperature real quick, but I want to make sure that I don't scald the bottom of the milk. So I use my spoon to stir it as fast, or not as fast as I can, but just keep it going. Don't turn it all the way up. But I'm just going to bring it up to temperature, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And while I'm waiting for that to happen, I want to tell you a little bit more about the bacteria culture that I use. So it's called a mesophilic, what is it called? mesophilic direct set culture. And so I mentioned that there's a high temperature loving bacteria and then this one, which is like a moderate temperature loving bacteria. The moderate that I use, it produces softer cheeses, and that's what we're going for. We're going for a soft cheese, goat cheese. So if I was making a firmer cheese, which I do not have experience with yet, I would use the warmer loving, warmer temperature loving bacteria. So I'm going to bring it up to temperature, and when it gets up to temperature, I'll show you the next step. Okay, so we are at 86 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the thermometer, turn this off, slide this over here, and I'm going to add my bacteria culture. I'm going to add the whole thing, and the package says that it sets up to 4 gallons of fresh milk, but since I'm making goat cheese and I like it kind of tart, I'm going to sprinkle the whole thing in. And it works just fine for me. I've made a smaller scale of goat cheese just using a half a gallon, and so I would use a half a packet. So since that worked out fine, I thought, well, I have 4 quarts, which is a whole gallon, I might as well use a whole packet. I'm gonna let that rest for anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and while that's rehydrating, I'm going to get my rennet ready. So I've got my sterilized cup right here. I'm just gonna add some water, just straight from the tap. It's okay to do that. About a tablespoon. And because I'm doing that, or the reason why I'm doing that is because if I just add this straight in, for one thing, I might do way more than 1 or 2 drops more than I want, and also it helps dilute it, so when I add it in, it distributes it more evenly. So I'm going to, I think in this case I'm going to try 1 drop. If I need to go back and add more, I might do that if it doesn't start setting up in a few hours. We'll see how that goes. But I've been told, and I've had experience before, that 1 drop is great for half of a gallon. So I'm going to go with that and see if it works for a whole gallon. And if I need to add more, I might go, I might break the law of cheese making and stir in more. We'll see. But anyway, this has had a chance to rehydrate. So before I add the rennet, if you want to come up closer, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to gently just push the bacteria down in. I don't want to, for some reason, you don't want to jostle it too much. Everybody says just to push it in gently, let it stir all the way down to the bottom. Just to keep the bacteria real happy in there. And then, once that is all mixed in, I'm going to add the rennet. And I'm just going to stir it in. And just like I did before, I'm gonna carefully, you kind of want to do this a little bit fast because I think it starts to activate it. You won't see it curdling right in front of you. It's going to take some time, but you just want it to distribute evenly pretty quickly. It starts binding to the proteins, so get that all mixed up. And then to stop the swirling inside the liquid right here, what I just do is I take my spoon, once I feel like it's fully distributed, take my spoon and I just cut once this way, just to kind of create a little line of stopping power. And that is done. So what I'm going to do, it's about 9 o'clock. I'm going to put my top on my pot. I'm going to put it in my oven that hasn't been on any time recently, so it's nice and cool in there. You want to keep your cheese at anywhere from about 70 to 72 degrees for 12 hours. So I figured, why not put it in an oven that's been off for a while, wake up in the morning and at 9 o'clock or about then, check it and see what happens. So I'm going to just put it in real gently, close it up, and we'll see what surprise is waiting for us in the morning.